next bolt.
Here, step back.
Okay, first step is, while the car's on the ground, we're going to crack all the nuts. Basically, save a lot of bullshit for later. Let me see. I think I've already these ones done here. I do, yeah. Just going to give it a slight turn. That's all. Just want to crack it, and that's it. Basically, no more needs to be done. Just want to jack up the car and save a lot of messing later. Basically. All right. So I have this up on axle stands now. Not really needed if you're just changing over the suspension. If you just want to use a jack and do one wheel at a time, it's going to do the same job. I just have it up on axle stands because I'm going to be doing other work on it and they're needed, you know. But they're not needed just to change over the suspension or whatever you're doing, basically. Right. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the nuts. Basically, we're going to take off this wheel. It's up now and. Alright, two nuts off, and we are gone. Alright, so that's basically now the wheel off. Now we can see everything we need to get at, basically. Alright, what we need now is a 19 spanner and a 19 socket. These are already loose. I didn't put them on tight when I was putting them back on, just for handiness sake for myself. But if you're touching this for the first time, it's going to be hard to get off. Breaker bar is probably your best bet, just to give it a crack and then finish it off then with the socket set. Basically what we want then is the spanner head on the actual bolt and then the socket on the nut. Make sure it's not loose. And basically just give it a crack. Keep on going with it then all the way on the same bottom. Like I said, these are already loose, so just for handiness, I didn't put them on. Didn't put them on tight because I knew I'd be taking them back off. If you feel that they're not coming out right, it's obviously because there's pressure being put on them by the hub. Basically, if you wiggle it around, you'll have a point where it's absolutely perfect, and they'll just pop out. Same at the bottom. So there's no need for any mad tools or anything. Alright, so basically we have two nuts here. That's the ABS sensor and your brake line. Bottom brake line is a 12 and top one is a 10. I already have these loose, so basically just got to take these, just loosen them off. They don't need to be, we're not going to be touching anything internally with them or anything. What I like to do is just throw the nut back into it there, just so we're not losing anything or anything. When you're just changing over, you don't need to do that, just leave it there. These shocks will be out and they'll be sitting there, so I don't want to lose any of the nuts. That nut there isn't even the proper nut for it, it just seems to be on it. So I'm just going to whip that out. Let's get that replaced. And just do the same again, just throw obviously that will look like your original one, just throw it back in. So it's safe and you know where it is, you can't lose it, and you know that's the proper screw right there. That's basically it. Once all that's done, then ready to take them out. Right, we're going to attack the top mount now. The nuts are 12, size 12. You can use a socket or a spanner. Obviously, if you don't socket set, the spanner will do, but it's going to be a bit longer to do. Socket just makes everything easier, to be honest. Just give it a quick crack. I'm sure you'll be able to run the rest of it with your hand, like so. It will want to fall down a bit, but if you grab underneath and hold it while you're on the last bolt, you can bring it down gently then. Alright, we're going to do the back shocks now. Basically, you've got one pin down the bottom and 2 bolts up the top. There's nothing else connected to it, there's no brake lines or anything, it's just basically that. So it's easy enough. Tools you're going to need is a 14 spanner and a 14 socket. Again, you can do it with 2 spanners if you want, it's just going to take longer. I find it handier with the socket. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to put the spanner on the nut side, and then with the socket then go on the other side. Remember the way you're rotating it. If you put the spanner in on the other side against the metal, as you're loosening it, the spanner can't move because it's in contact at the back here with the metal, so it'll give you a bit more leverage. You can use 2 hands on the socket if it's tight or whatever, and that'll make sure that the nut doesn't move. The spanner does that. So basically, once it's like that, loosen it, throw it on, and away. Just basically till you get it loose, and then once it's loose, pretty much you can do it by hand really, but keep on going till it's pretty much free. Alright, so that's the nut off. Again, that pin will free out if you jiggle the rear axle there. Basically, again, if it's tight, it's only because there's pressure being put on the bolt itself by the weight of the axle. Basically just push it up or wiggle it or whatever, and that pin will just come straight out. Alright, so it's just the top mounts now that have to come off. These are size 12, so same as the nuts in the front, so pretty much exactly the same nut anyway. Basically just what I have to do is just give it a quick crack, like so, and then just run them off with your hand. So basically, once you have one screw gone and there's one just on kind of near the end, basically if you pull up the shock, I can't do it there now because it's still actually attached, but if you actually pull up the shock, that'll come loose, and if you have a hand underneath, it'll take the weight, take the nut, and the whole shock will actually just physically lift out. I have a jack underneath the rear axle just to take the weight. Basically, that's only because it's on axle stands. Again, if you were doing them individually, you wouldn't have to worry about that. The other wheel and shock and everything would basically take the weight for the few minutes that you're going to have them off for, basically.